Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1. Wow. Didn't expect that one. Okay, we're going to start again. Sorry for the delay. Hold on a minute. Give me a second. Alrighty. Let's try that again. Hello everyone and welcome to LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the Mexican Grand Prix, round 9 out of 16. The second half of the season is on its way. Looking good as we see Nifo start a lap here at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, if that's correct, as they go down the straight into turn 1. Let's see what they can do, reaching maximum top speed here. Into the first corner, really high speed, down to 4th gear, and just hook it over the first one, really cut the second one, and then hook it over the second one as well, up to 5th to get the traction down. DRS again available. This could be a possible place to overtake, once again braking down to 4th gear, unless they prefer 3rd. They do prefer 3rd, as they will now go through the most technical part of the section, a double hairpin right here as well. Just trying to keep the revs controllable so you can get onto that throttle as smooth as possible. Now, into the S section, turn 7. Cut that inside one to open up the next one, right over the cut. Make sure your setup is prepared for these curves. And we exit out of turn 11 now. DRS available once again for Nifo, and into turn 12. Braking as late as he can. Carry the momentum as high as possible as well. Downshifting. A bit of a lock-up, unfortunately. The engine braking didn't quite get them slowed down enough. A bit of a loss of the rear, but nothing too bad, nothing too much to worry about. Keep it as far right as we possibly can, minimize the track distance, and that's a lap. 16.4 for Nifo, 1/10 away from actually both Hydra and Ruleton. So those little mistakes there, they can still find a lot of time. Can Nifo? We've got Zing currently sat on pole position with a 15.9 at the moment. They've got the Williams on the inside there. PJ, I think they might have had a couple of issues on the connection side of things, but hopefully right now they're looking good. Eager Pro also, of course, retiring a little bit earlier on in the session, actually right just before we started the stream. So Eager Pro, unfortunately, will not be setting a lap time. They will start last if Luke and Andrews don't set lap time, or do set lap times. That should be said. Now, Zingy got the final few corners to go, and they will start a lap once again. Bit eager on the throttle. They don't exactly open up the lap either, but still they could have a good go. And they have got PJ, who's fairly close behind them. Just having a quick look there. They shouldn't get affected too badly, but they'll be alright. Now into turn 1, let's see, carrying a lot of momentum, really cutting the inside curve. Not so much cutting the second corner, but the third corner as expected. Of course, onto 5th, short shift, get that traction down now into the second DRS braking zone. Lovely stuff. So you can see he's in the higher gears compared to Nifo. 4th gear, holding it here. Just try and make sure that you can keep it as smooth as possible. Spam the throttle, unless that is just the game bug, but trying to get on it as much as you possibly can. Bit tentative over the first curve, onto the second, third, 4th, all good. Bit wide on the track, but they've managed to somehow get away with that one and keep it valid into turn 12. Now once again, keeping it in 4th actually. Now braking very, very close to track limits, and too close as well. Maybe that's a little bit of karma for exceeding those track limits, of course. I don't know. But that is Zingy going to have to go out again. They do have time to do so, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Captain 4G also going to try and look for an improvement here. Captain 4G in the Alfa Romeo at the moment. We'll see what they can do as we head towards Sector 3. And actually, Sector 3 is a very, very short sector. So they've got a few more corners in the S section to go. And once you exit that S section, you'll go down the DRS straight and across the line. What's going to be? Up by not just about, well, not just shy of half a tenth, I guess you could say. Now, what can we see them get done right here? Both Williams out on track. Bit of a yellow earlier on, but nothing too much to worry about. Here we go. Captain 4G across the line. What's it going to be for them? Is it going to be a 15? Yes, it will. Lovely, lovely stuff. And that does bump themselves into provisional pole. Zingy could be in a bit of trouble here. 15.9. Very, very close margins, and he should be able to get that. But it's just, will he be able to get a valid lap in? That is the question. Ruleton in the pit lane, not coming out just yet. If they want to go for another one, they'll have to come out very, very soon. Heisler on a lap right now, so they're going to try and push for the pole time. And we've also got Nifo on an out lap at the moment. So Nifo's in a very comfortable position. Heisler gone a little bit earlier than most people, but they still have a nice clear track ahead of them. So not too bad at all. Whereas Captain 4G probably won't get another lap as long... Well, actually, they might get another lap, but they'll have to save, definitely, on a cooldown lap, which can cause the tyres to wear a little bit more. And that is a 15.7 there for Luke. Lovely stuff for Luke. Awesome job. Can he take another pole position here? Can he take a pole position? That'd be great to see if he can do it. Now, Heisler through the S section. They're going through it slowly. They are going very, very slowly, so they're not going to improve. Nifo is going to start a lap very, very soon. Now, will Captain 4G go straight into the pit lane? Looks like they will do so. No, they're going to go again. Captain 4G is going to go for a second lap. So, they don't really have anything to lose, to be honest. So yeah, Luke going for that pole position. Can Zingy try and take the pole? I don't quite know. Did he get pole in USA? I don't think he did. I think Luke got pole position in USA. Nifo down the straight, absolutely rapid right now. Foot to the floor. I don't know what else you would be doing, to be honest, with your foot, but it is what it is. DRS available into turn 1. And let's see what they can do in the first sector. If we can see an improvement by the time we get to the second sector, of course. Bit scrummy on the exit, but nothing too much to worry about. Now, across the sector line, what's it going to be? It's going to be down by a 10th. It's going to be down by a 10th on a lock-up again there. That's not ideal. They can still improve on this, but that's a little bit tricky for them. We've got Ruleton across the line to start a lap right here, as they will try and look for an improvement. We also have a bit of traffic up ahead. There is a Williams not too far away from Zingy. So Zingy might be in a bit of trouble here. They've got... Is that PJ or Luke? It's Luke. Luke is up ahead. So these guys could trip over each other if they're not careful. Luke, I think, though, should have... if he's not on an in-lap, he is just doing one final run. Of course, Captain 4G wasn't able to improve on that second lap that they tried to do. Rules on Heisler. Heisler going for a second run on this tyre as well as they backed off, of course. Not sure if they'll be able to jump up or not. Nifo, of course, into the pit lane. Robbo is out. So is End Anders. Can End Anders get through? And can they possibly put a surprise show on for us and bump their way up the order? We'll have to wait and see. And that is over the track limit. It's just about there for Luke, unfortunately. Just trying to open up that corner. Way too greedy this time. Zingy gets away with their track extension, or they learned from the mistake on the last lap. Now they're going to go across the line. What's it going to be? Keeping it tight to the inside. Is it going to be pole? No, it's not going to be pole. It's a 10th off in the end. It's less than a 10th. The margins are tiny, but he's missed out after all of that. Ruleton will invalidate, and they will not manage to get a lap in. And Andrews comes around the final corner. What's it going to be for them? And it's going to be a P4. And that is Luke once again on pole position. Well done to him. Can this guy convert it into a win? That'll be awesome to see. Definitely deserves one. It's just getting it done on track, of course. Alrighty, qualifying is over for the Mexican Grand Prix, and then we will be on to the race very, very shortly. Luke in P1, Zingy in P2, and Captain 4G in P3. This is the rest of the grid, and then we'll have a skim through the rest of the race director, of course, and then we will be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Go! Who's going to get it into turn one? Will Luke be able to maintain that lead as they get off the line? Well, but it's not enough as Zingy will take the lead into turn one. There's still a chance to get back with the long straight in Mexico. Who's going to get the advantage? He still has it. Luke to the outside. The Alfa Romeo doesn't get the best start in the world, getting challenged from Ruleton on the inside. Zingy will take the lead side by side with the McLaren. The McLaren will just about hold on in the end. That is, of course, then the Alfa Romeo, followed by the AlphaTauri right behind, and that is Egapro to the inside. I don't believe it. What a run Egapro had. Now going for the AlphaTauri. The other Mercedes bogging down off the start a little bit there, as Niffo will hold on. Egapro not quite able to get the jump. We've got End Andrews on the inside right there. Very, very close, but they're side by side with a Red Bull. Something's going to have to happen here as they go very tight off the circuit just a little bit. They're going to have to slot in behind, and of course we have PJ and Heichler further on behind the grid, but very, very close there as PJ has a quick look. Are they really going to try and go for it on the inside? No, they won't. They'll have to back off for now. But that is Zingy into P1. So close as that's actually Ruleton making a mistake on the rear, and that'll compromise the Alfa Romeo. We've got AlphaTauri on the inside as Niffo tries his best to make it work, and they do make it work. What a job there. That is Niffo ahead, a big train with all the, of course, trying to break the dirty air. I need to break a minute. Hold on a minute. On lap 2 now, we have Zingy leading the way. We have Luke, of course, right behind, but they're splitting off from the rest of the field as Ruleton isn't able to keep up with the top two, whereas Niffo and Captain Forgy are right behind. Captain Forgy really struggling off the line. They were not bullied, but they just got eaten alive. So, yeah, not ideal for them, of course. We have Egapro in P6, a little bit further behind, and then End Andrews has just managed to get ahead of PJ, or stay ahead of PJ, I should say, as PJ and Robbo are actually switching positions at the moment, and we have Heichler at the back still, not able to make any moves. Luke is going to be right there very, very shortly as we have PJ going off the circuit. A little bit too much, and Captain Forgy is round. I don't believe it. Captain Forgy is around in the S section, following behind Niffo, but it wasn't easy enough, and that's going to be a lot of time lost. Heichler right there. We've got the Williams close behind, but the other Williams is even closer. Well, not even closer, but still really close to the lead here as Zingy goes for the fastest lap. Will DRS be available here? No, it won't. Okay, it will now be available. I thought it'd be available on this lap because he crossed the line first, but never mind. It will be available on the next main straight, of course, the start-finish straight. That is for this circuit. Ruleton trying his best to hold on to the DRS. That'll be a lifeline for him right now, because otherwise Niffo's going to be right there. So Niffo also got to hold on. And we have Egapro, who doesn't have the DRS at the moment, and Andrews right there in P6, not able to quite get the best of their qualifying position. We'll see if they can make their way back up the order right behind Egapro. Egapro has a little bit of a moment on the rear there, and that will make them vulnerable to the Mercedes. The Mercedes got to be careful that they don't go for a send at turn 7, of course. Going off circuit there, a little bit cheeky. They've got to be careful of the penalties, of course. Egapro looking pretty quick through the S section, and they do maintain it nicely. Lovely stuff. The top runners right now, the top 4 in that train, looking good, and Zingy will get the first big threat from Luke, who will have that DRS all the way down the straight. ERS is going to be absolutely crucial as another fastest lap he bangs in, so really absolutely pushing at this point of the race and almost losing DRS range does Luke, so he's got to be really careful here. Captain Forgy goes and puts the fastest lap in as they're right behind PJ as well. No one going to be making any moves except from Andrews and Egapro to the inside now. He will have the advantage. It's the switch back available there for the Mercedes, but I don't think it's quite available, but it will. Spamming that DRS, the DRS as well, really available, and he will just have the advantage, take the lead, take the racing line, and he is up ahead. Will Egapro be able to hold on? I don't quite know. We have Captain Forgy also making that move on Heichler. It's PJ very close to the back of the Alfa Romeo. Heichler making the move on PJ, and of course when Captain Forgy had the issue at the beginning, but Captain 4G is right there. Very, very quick with the fastest lap as well. Alrighty. Thingy will once again lead the way of this train. And what's it gonna be? Will Luke be able to catch up or not? They're just kind of using ERS at the moment. Luke goes for a fastest lap. They're pushing on that one, of course. But everybody's just kind of slowly using everything up. It's a hard track to actually save Mexico. So we'll have to see how it goes. But yeah, Zingy manages to have a big enough gap to not really need to worry, and Igapro is going to make the move on Anders, whereas he's got a penalty, so that's going to affect him later on in the race. Andrews does have to give the position up a little bit, and Robbo is going to be right there, so they're really nice and close. Might be able to get the DRS, and if they can get the DRS, that'll be a big advantage to Captain 4G, of course, because he will be able to get into a bit of a train. Heisler unfortunately makes a mistake, drops behind PJ, unless that was just the DRS train being so powerful and everybody so close together. But currently, the top runners, they are all in a pretty even split at the moment. Not really close enough to make any moves, but not far away enough to say that the train is gone. So currently in a very tricky situation, just trying to get the laps in, keep consistent. And we'll see who manages to take advantage later on. And of course, if Luke does try to go for a move, that will allow Rulaton to have a look, and in turn it would allow Nifo to have a look as well. Although Nifo has just lost DRS range, do they still have it as they cross the line? Did they manage to get it in time? No, they've made a mistake and they're going to be in a bit of trouble. They still have the S section, which they'll be able to catch up a lot here, but it's not really going to be enough as Luke does catch up slowly but surely. A little bit more this lap, so next lap might be his time to shine and go for that attack, but I'm not quite sure. Time will only tell. Of course, the pit stop window is going to be about lap 16ish. It's quite a long race, lap wise at least, so we're going to be going quite a way into this race. A bit of a laggy issue there for Zingy, unfortunately. Not ideal. Hopefully that won't cause us any more issues. That's the only thing that we've seen so far of that. Nifo almost back in this DRS train, but they've still got a little bit more to gain if they're going to get it, of course. So they've just got to push that little bit more. Be careful, though, of course, on the track limits. Igapro holds on to the position from End Andrews. End Andrews wasn't able to make the move on that last lap, and Igapro's round! Igapro's round onto the curb, and he loses the car. Oh, no, that's not what we want to see. He'll go back onto the track and he'll maintain a P9, so he's still in this race, but his tyres are going to be absolutely baking. The grip is so low around the circuit like this, you've got to be careful, and unfortunately he's found the limit. Heisler will have a possible look. Captain 4G looking close to the back of Robbo now, and no one's going to be making a move up ahead, but these guys will have the switch around, of course, and he's going to get catapulted up ahead, and this will allow them to catch up nicely to End Andrews. End Andrews possibly had to lift as Igapro spun, but now they don't have any DRS or a slipstream to help them in a straight line, so Captain 4G could gain a lot here, and of course in qualifying we know that they're quick. It's just their race start wasn't the best in the world, so let's see if they can capitalize on the mid part of the race and get an advantage. They're looking good so far. No movements between the top guys. Nifo does catch back up to the DRS train. Zingy manages to do enough every single lap so far in the final sector and pretty much the middle sector as well to maintain that gap so that Luke can't push. So Luke may be looking at a higher downforce setup, whereas, or a lower downforce setup, as Zingy's looking for the high downforce. It will be at a compromise with the straight line speed, of course. Luke gets the DRS, gonna put it on. There you go. And see what they can do. 8 tenths, now goes to 7, now goes to 6. Will it go to 5? Yes, it will. Will it go to 4? Yes, it will, but not 3. Once again, he still needs to get a little bit closer. He needs to be like, I don't know, 7, 6 tenths in order to make an overtake around the straight like that. So we'll have to see how it goes. Nifo Did they get the DRS here? Yes, they did. They're very, very close to it, though, so they've got to be careful. And Andrews does lose that position to Captain 4G. So Captain 4G really on a charge at the moment. We've got Robbo, who's right behind these guys, Heischler and Igapro. Very, very close to one another as Heischler is trying to get past, but Igapro's just holding on at the moment. He actually got the DRS, sorry. So he's actually made that overtake on Heischler recently. And they're going to have a little bit of a battle to get on with, and maybe try and work together to get back into this. Of course, we do have a small grid. We can still have a great race, though. There's no doubt about that. But there's a less likelihood of a safety car, which can be a good thing. But of course, for Igapro and Heischler, they need to try and work together to make sure that they get the best result possible, because otherwise they could be in a bit of trouble. Now, here we go. Will Luke be able to challenge again, or is it just going to be advantage Zingy? Zingy will be really far up ahead and not going to be really pressured at the moment. They're loving this at the moment. Luke not really struggling on ERS though, so they're not exactly pushing for the move. They're just trying to maintain it. Ruleton goes and gets himself a 3-second. Unfortunately, they're going to lose the position to Nifo, as they must have had a mistake at turn 3 there on the exit. So Nifo will jump up ahead. Nifo needs to try and push this to get that DRS train if they want to maintain this position. But right now, they are, 1.5 seconds behind. So they're going to have a bit of work to do. They need that 6/10 in order to catch up. They have a little bit of clean air to get through the S section. So it might be an advantage, but they've got to make sure it doesn't affect them mentally. Of course, it's a little bit of a frustration, but it's not too much of a big deal. Andrews, Robbo catch up to Captain 4G, but no movement is made. Igapro and Heischler the same, although Heischler's just lost that DRS range, so everybody kind of just sat in a train at the moment. Nifo wasn't able to do enough. Igapro goes and gets himself a 3-second, unfortunately. But yeah, Nifo not able to do enough. Ruleton will be able to have another go. Ruleton has to be really careful, though, with how they get this done. They're close enough, I think, to make the move. Will they make the move? That is the question. Because they don't want to lose the guys ahead if they're not careful. Although there's a significant difference. Luke catches 3/10 again, but it's not close enough to actually make a move. They're so close. Might even have a look if they can secure a good exit right here. If they can get a good exit, they might have an opportunity to overtake, and that's possibly going to be their likeliest moment, actually. If they can just push and make that move. But of course, they don't really need to worry until it gets to the pit stops strategies or stages. So they've just got a bit of time to wait, of course. PJ's made a mistake and they've lost the position to Igapro. Igapro now up to P8. Heischler going to try and look to see if he can get advantage of the other Williams, but I'm not quite sure if it will work. The top two very, very close together this time. It depends on who has the confidence, of course, into the final few corners, and this time it looks really good for Luke here. Nifo, once again, not able to catch up. Ruleton hasn't gone for the move, though. But here we go. Luke's going to look at their first opportunity to make an overtake. Zingy has not done enough this time. Luke, where's he going to go? To the inside, to the outside? I don't quite know. To the outside, it will have to be, as Zingy defends all the way to the inside. Doesn't want Luke to get it as they go into turn 1. Who's going to come out ahead? Luke has the overspeed. He's got the run. He'll get the second lot of DRS. Zingy, it's going to be so difficult to get back past. It's not impossible, but he has the second DRS and he will take that position. Lovely, lovely stuff. That was a golden opportunity for Nifo to catch back up, but Zingy thought better of it and they weren't going to fight it because it would just create unnecessary stress for the top two, of course, whereas Nifo and Ruleton, they're on their own at the moment. Ruleton getting that 3 seconds, so yeah, those two are in a bit of struggle at the moment. Luke, first time in clean air. They've got a bit more of a straight line speed set up, although it seems, so they might be able to maintain this lead. We'll have to see how it goes, though. But the first time they do have clean air, as Zingy, of course, took the lead on lap 1. Let's see if Luke has the pace advantage or if Zingy will be able to get back through. He's close, got a bit of a loss of traction on the rear, so he's possibly going to lose that now, as we have Captain 4G once again making a mistake, and they'll lose it. They'll lose it, and Andrews and Robbo will maintain that position, get back ahead. So lovely stuff for them. Zingy will not be able to catch up to Luke, and they will wait behind. Not going to push for it and just going to let it go. Captain Forgy goes to the pit lane and they retire from the session, so giving up of guaranteed points there. And that is Rulaton trying their best to go for a move, but it wasn't enough. Here we go though. No ERS for Nifo, DRS for Rulaton. They're not going to try and go for a move surely into turn 5. It's not going to be possible. Turn 4 and 5, I should say. They're not going to make it work so far. It's probably the better strategy, but if they're thinking that they're faster and they want to try and catch up to the guys ahead, they might have to give it a shot, as that is Nifo making a bit of a mistake on the second part of the apex. But it wasn't enough. No safety car will be deployed, of course, to retire in the pit lane, so there will be that advantage for the rest of the field, if you take it as an advantage. Of course, we've got End Andrews 5 seconds behind these guys, and then we have Robbo in P6. Currently, though, the top 2 are very, very close, and they might have a look at a switcheroo position-wise. So close. Last time it was about 5 to 6 tenths and Zingy wasn't able to make the move. This time it's about 4 tenths and Zingy will have a look at a maneuver. Will they try and go for it though? They're actually going to lift off and let Luke take the position. Luke goes defensive, realises that Zingy wasn't going to go for it and just going to leave it for now, although Zingy might have a go here. Sorry, going to the wrong camera there. Will Nifo be troubled by Rulaton after all? I don't quite know. I don't think so. But yeah, Zingy and Luke at the moment just kind of relaxing at the moment, just keeping it calm. Of course, we're not even halfway through the race yet, so they've just got to make sure that they keep it consistent on this tyre as well. There's a long way to go on this tyre. We're going to go in about lap 22-3 maybe. I'd say probably lap 28 to 22 is the pit stop window. We'll have to see, of course, what goes on, but lap 20 would be more standard, maybe even 21, to give you a slight more advantage on the medium tyre. We will have a quick look at the data, just in case, of course. We have time penalties, 9 seconds for Igapro and a 3 second for Rulaton. Tyre-wise, everybody is on the same tyre. And tyre life, of course. Then he will make the move. Back to the lead they go. Luke will just have to sit behind. A little bit of porpoising between the two. Nifo might get trouble. No, they will not. They will just hold on for now. Robbo might be able to have a look at End Andrews' note. Once again, they're just not able to get close enough by the end of that straight, and they just have to wait. They're holding on though. They're keeping in the train at the moment. 5.9 seconds is the gap between themselves and the other cars ahead. Holding on nicely with these guys. Luke once again now in the dirty air as Zingy does hold on, and Andrews getting themselves a 3 seconds. A little bit cheeky on the track limits, unfortunately. That's going to cause them a little bit of a problem later on. Luke's so close to the limits on the exit of turn 11. That could be foreshadow for the future. Zingy, of course, all of a sudden getting that clean air. They're looking pretty rapid at the moment. Once again, they managed to get that second sector to the 7/8 zone, so they're really looking really strong in that final sector, whereas that will mean Luke can't catch up enough to make a move, and they're going to be in a bit of a troublesome situation. Heisler in P9 as they unfortunately make another mistake, but as long as they finish this race they will score points, of course. Nifo, once again, can't catch up to the top two after losing that DRS. So Rulaton making that mistake earlier on really did drop it for them, unfortunately. It's not like they're really losing much time. It's just they can't gain anything, of course, as the top two guys are kind of working together in a bit of a train. They don't need to worry about the cars behind, of course, if they can focus on themselves. And the chances are when the safety car does come, or not when the safety car, when the pit stops come around, everybody might split up a little bit here and there. So who's going to go long and who's going to try and stay or try and go in as soon as they possibly can to get that undercut? Time will tell, of course. Time will tell. The undercut would be a very viable option, of course, as we do see a fair gap between, of course, PJ, Igapro, and Heisler. So there is a little bit of a gap for these guys to be able to go for a pit stop and still come out in clean air. Luke looks to possibly want to go for a move already. They're going to go to the outside line. Zingy's going to let him take that. Not going to fight it, of course. Rillaton and Nifo, of course, they're not fighting each other. And Nifo just maintains the position. Seems to be losing the car a couple times on the exit of turn 3. But they still have the advantage over Rillaton right now, so they can't do anything about it. Just sitting with each other at the moment. So we've got 1 train, we've got 2 trains, and we've got 3 trains. Of course, Robbo, however, not making a move ahead of End Andrews. So End Andrews looking pretty quick in the straight line at the moment. Whereas Robbo is catching nicely and maintaining that gap, but it's just not enough for them to be able to close up and go for a move on to that start-finish straight, of course. So they're in a really difficult situation. Cars are starting to get slightly older now as we come towards the pit stop range. Everybody's going to have to start thinking about it as well, which could cause a bit of a distraction if they're not careful. Now, Zingy is going to stay out. They will stay out as Nifo might want to go for a pit stop. No, it's not really time, to be honest. It's just worth a possible look. I think we're going to be going at least 2 more laps until we see any glimpse of a pit stop, of course. Will Robbo have a look? Let's see. Looking at it, he's closing a little bit, but they're pretty much impossible to make a move. They're just way too fast, but they've made a mistake. They've locked up here. This could be a chance for Robbo, as he's going to be able to get the switch back on End Andrews. And Andrews is going to have to push with everything here. He's got the DRS, but it's not enough. It's not enough. And Andrews pushes massively. And what a corner there, as unfortunately Robbo makes a bit of a mistake. Hopefully they don't have damage from that, but if they do, they're going to be in a bit of trouble. And Andrews has got an absolute rocket of a car right now. Rillaton right behind, of course. They can't get through. Zingy looking pretty good. They're able to hold on to Luke really, really nicely. I think that's something about Zingy. He's able to really sit closely behind somebody, put the pressure on, and that does allow him to be... it does allow him to have a very good opportunity to overtake, even if he's got higher downforce setups applied. So Luke is in that kind of trap at the moment, and Zingy might have a go at a move. He's going to expect Luke to let him go. Bit of a wiggle. Nothing that would be illegal. It's just not quite expected. This time Luke's trying to fight it. He wants to maintain it, of course, because the pit stops are on their way, but he wasn't able to maintain it, and he's going to have to let it go. So Luke wanted to try and maintain that position, but it wasn't enough. That does allow, of course, Nifo to catch up. You can see they've gained about 3/10 just from that little squirm into turn 1. So you can see how beneficial a slipstream or a DRS train is if you don't fight each other. So that is an extreme advantage, and now that does kind of imply to Zingy that Luke might be trying to go for a pit stop at the end of this lap. That does also mean that he might start pushing and try and prevent Luke from getting any DRS and getting closer. That would then force Luke to have to make a pit stop because he wouldn't want to lose any unnecessary time. Not able to do it though, as Luke will still maintain that DRS, more likely to stay out by doing so. So he will still hold on to that DRS. That is the advantage, of course, by staying out for longer. You will be able to run pretty quickly with the DRS and the slipstream trains without losing a significant amount of time. Of course, the car ahead would lose a slight bit more time overall. Right now, it's all looking good. Robbo looking close to the back of the End Andrews, and they will put the pressure on. End Andrews lets him go for it. Going to try and look at a switchback maneuver. Will the DRS be enough, though? As they will have the DRS, of course. DRS not going to be used for End Andrews. They're not going to be able to get the advantage, of course, as they showed earlier on, with an extreme amount of pace in a straight line. Absolutely mega power in that Mercedes plot twist. Alrighty, the top two, are they going to make a pit stop this lap, or is it going to be the next lap? We'll have to wait and see. We've just got a couple more corners until we will be able to find out, of course. Luke right behind, Zingy up ahead. Zingy makes that decision. Everybody else will react behind. Luke's probably going to try and stay out a little bit longer, although he might lose some time to Niffa if he does so, as he goes into the pit lane. Lovely stuff. Zingy, he will take that, go to the medium tyre, and we'll see what's going to happen. Nifo also goes to the pit lane, so as the train leader of his own train, Nifo's going to react with Zingy and work with Zingy to try and replicate that and see if it works for him. Ruleton and Luke following each other. Now, yes, they're going to get a good undercut, and they do have a lot of clean air as well, so that's good news for them, although Nifo could be in trouble here. That's if PJ can close up enough and also warm their tyres up enough for them to be able to threaten. Actually, I've probably changed my mind. Nifo is still quite a long way ahead for that to happen, but these guys are going to get their tyres warmed up quickly and go for an undercut. So Luke's going to either lose the lead or lose a lot of time to Zingy, or he's going to have to try and go for a bit more of a significant overcut, of course. Now, if he wants to make a pit stop similar to Zingy, he'll have to go for it now. If he wants to go for it the next lap, that's probably a pretty bad idea, of course. They won't really have that much of an advantage. So if we don't see him come in this lap, maybe not next lap, it will be the lap after. But nope, they're going to react. They're going to go in this lap. Just go for the one lap fresher tyres. And around a circuit like this, actually, that might not be the worst idea, of course, because the tyres do wear out quite quickly, so it might give you an advantage. Ruleton, unsurprisingly, does react to Luke as well. Luke will come out in P1. Zingy will have a bit of traffic, of course. No, and Andrew, sorry, who up ahead, of course, as Robbo has that position. Zingy right there, as they do have Luke coming out right there as well, but it's not enough. And that will be Nifo possibly getting an advantage, but actually Ruleton jumped him there, but the tyres will not speak, and they will, of course, regain that advantage. Now, Luke has lost that DRS, but they still have an opportunity here to try and catch back up. Zingy, he's got a just over a 3-second gap to his teammate at the moment, so they're going to want to try and get through these two. Now, I assume the Mercedes are both going to just try and cooperate with one another, whereas Robbo, I don't know if that's going to be quite possible, so this could definitely put a spanner in the mix. Maybe that is what Luke spotted, as he realises there's going to be a possible bit of traffic up ahead, so if he goes an extra lap, he either will be able to clear those two or catch up, but no, he's got himself a 3 seconds, so Zingy is in a really safe position at the moment. Looking good for them, not able to catch to the DRS of the guys ahead, but they are still super, super close. Now, with that time penalty, it's going to not spook Luke, but it's going to cause him to react probably a little bit. Absolutely blasting the ERS, and he does get the DRS after all, so Zingy was pushing like an absolute madman. And this could put Zingy a pit stop ahead of Endanders by the time he gets through. Is he going to get a good enough exit? Will they cooperate? Of course, and he will cooperate. Move out the way for his teammate. Now, Zingy has the clean air, of course. Not clean air. He has one car ahead of him. Robbo leads the way, but he doesn't have to give the position up. Yes, he's a reserve driver, but at this stage, he could make it a little bit spicy. Very, very close to the back of Robbo as he tries to go to the outside line, really trying to put the pressure on early, and he'll go round the outside, a long way round, goes off the circuit as he really tries to go so early on. He's really risking it. He knows that if he doesn't do it, Luke will get the advantage. Luke also does have the advantage, so he's going to have to send it to the inside. No, they back off, and then Andrews goes defensive to the Williams. The Williams has to go off the circuit. They'll take the position overall, though, and they will maintain it as a bit of contact between the two as Luke loses the rear of the car, and Andrews will maintain that position once again, and Nippo is now in the battle here. DRS could be lost here as Zingy will take the lead. Robbo into the pit lane, and Andrews sacrifices themselves. Luke trying his best to maintain that P2 position, that net P2, but it's not enough, and Andrews once again, the rocket in a straight line, is managing this like an absolute champion. Nifo can't do anything. Ruleton will be able to catch, but it's not enough. Nifo fought as hard as he could, but he just has to give it up right now. Doesn't have a time penalty, whereas Luke does. So this could be a very good point of the race right now, and Andrews is absolutely saving Zingy here. Of course, Robbo defending as hard as he possibly could, and he did a pretty good job at doing so. And Andrews, he's gone and been a bit of a second lifeline there. Otherwise, Luke would have been able to catch up to the DRS. That's almost a 3-second gap. Luke's going to be absolutely furious with this one. Zingy running away and going to have a lot of comforts, and it's going to allow him to not push. He won't need to push, and that will mean that he won't be at a risk at getting a time penalty. It's not to say that he won't get one though, of course. He's still got to be careful and drive in his own way. Now, let's see. Luke's surely going to try and go for a move here, although Andrews is going to be once again pushing in a straight line. No ERS for Luke. No ERS now left for Andrews. DRS is in it. Luke has to go for the move. And Andrews though goes defensive. It kind of prevents him from going for that move, but round the inside. The long way around turn one, then has the inside advantage. What a move there. As Andrews might get threatened by Nifo, but actually Nifo made a mistake. That's not going to cause Ruleton to want to go for a move, but it does prevent Nifo from going for it, and he makes a mistake himself. And now Andrews could get pressured by Ruleton, as Ruleton will take that position. Ruleton doesn't have anything that they can really do. They just have to let them go. It's not possible. I don't believe what I'm seeing here. I don't believe what I'm seeing. Nifel's in such a good position to make a move, but once again, just a twitchy rear has prevented them from doing so. And now Luke, causing a big gap between, of course, Zingy and and Andrews caused that big gap. He's now going to do it again with Ruleton. Actually goes off the circuit and lets them go. Goes off the circuit and lets them go. That's a little bit controversial. Okie dokie. Not sure if that's too fair, but nothing we can really do about it, I guess. I guess it's just about strategical. But yeah, it will be pretty frustrating, of course, for the rest of the field, as Nifo will now not have the DRS of the cars ahead, but they will take that position over Ruleton just about. No ERS for him though, so he could be under threat later on if Ruleton can stay on top of this. Everybody right now on that medium tyre are going to be looking to go to the end of this race. We've got about 12 laps remaining of this race. About 12 and a half, I would say now. Zingy leads the way by a 3.1 second margin. Luke did catch up about a tenth to Zingy, but since then it's kind of just equalised out. Luke's got to really push it. He can see Zingy up ahead of him, but he has that time penalty, so it's going to be really difficult for him to do anything. Although, even though he has that 3 second, he can't really do anything other than push for it if he wants to try and go for that lead. So he has to make sure that he does put the pressure on, and you never know, if he does put the pressure on, Zingy will then have to react. We have 11 laps remaining of this race. Nifo not gonna be challenged by Ruleton, as they will actually be challenged by Ruleton. Ruleton wants to go for the move. They're gonna not back off. They're gonna still try and stick their nose in into turn 3, as that's Nifo going off the circuit. DRS and ERS available, but although ERS is actually not really available for either driver, Ruleton will have the run to the outside. Now to the inside they'll go. Nifo really trying to hold on as much as they can. The space is minimal. Goes onto the curb, loses the car, and has to give up the position overall. So, yeah, hard stuff, but it's just about fair. And Zingy goes and gets a 3-second. He does get a 3-second. And this guy is now going to see a second light at the end of the tunnel. What's going to happen here? He sees Zingy ahead. He just needs to push like an absolute madman, of course. We did see Luke. He was pretty rapid. But does Zingy have the advantage on that medium tyre? We do know Zingy for being an absolute legend on a set of mediums. He does love them. Luke does have slightly fresher tyres than Zingy, so that might become apparent later on. But at the moment, can't do anything about it. He just has to sit here and wait. So far, it's just a bit of a gridlock scenario. Nifo and Ruleton once again battling between the two, as that's a switchback, but once again a twitchy rear from Nifo. Nifo just can't get the car out of the corners. He just loses the car, has to lift and loses the next run onto the straight and will not be able to get a move into turn 4. He's getting so close and he's so responsive. But it's almost too responsive, it seems. Almost too responsive. Yellow sector, as that is Luke, the challenger for P1. Unfortunately spinning. Luke will now have to possibly settle for a P4. And at the moment, of course, the podium. Now, they're in a bit of a train themselves. So it could be very difficult for these guys to catch. So let alone Zingy being up ahead, they now have a train to catch, which is going to be so difficult. It does allow Robbo to catch up a little bit, although they are both pretty far behind at the moment. Nifo will have a possible opportunity to get back past Ruleton. These guys are both draining each other out, of course, of the battery to try and keep each other under pressure so they don't lose sight of each other, both with... Or actually, I say both for 3 seconds. Nifo has a 3 second, but of course, if you want to stay ahead, that's fair enough. You want the track glory, and you want to ensure that you don't have trouble later on, as that is Ruleton. Not quite looking where he's going as he goes onto the grass. Ruleton not going to be pressured this lap, and that's End Andrews retiring from the race. Retiring from the race on the straight and causes a safety car. Oh yeah. That is not nice. That is a safety car on lap 28 of 36. That is going to be a pit stop for everybody. Everybody's going to have to make a pit stop right here. Zingy will go into the pit lane. There's no doubt about it. You can't not take this opportunity to go into the pit lane. But guess who is absolutely loving this? Nifo. Nifo will have a great advantage here. They're going to have no time penalties. PJ also, he'll like this. Everybody's going to like this. Nobody's going to be a lap down either. High should be able to get back into this battle as well. Onto the soft we'll go, and we will have a sprint. Now, I know that I say I don't like these, because they definitely cause a lot of carnage. We can still have some very good racing and some exciting switch-ups towards the end of this race. It's just a little bit sketchy at times, of course. Alrighty, 2 retirements of the session. That does now make everything very interesting. Zingy will lead the way for the Mexican Grand Prix. We're going to be going in probably actually about lap 31. So we're not going to be going in for a while. We're going to be racing on lap 31 or maybe even 30. It depends on how quickly Heisler can catch up to the grid. Yeah, might even actually be, we'll be going racing on lap 32. There's going to be a long way under the safety car to go. Zingy leads the way, currently in the Mercedes with fresh set of softs with a 3 second themselves. We are going to go and take a look at the time penalties, of course. Ruleton is now in P2 with also 3 seconds, so they're on equal playing fields to Zingy. Nifo, no time penalty. They're in 3rd position at the moment. Luke in 4th with a 3 second. Although they might be pretty good in a straight line. They might be. I'm not entirely sure. I can't confirm it, but from what we've seen so far, they're all right. Robbo, P5, we haven't seen them in the train so far. They have a 3-second. They will be able to show us what they've got. PJ also the same. He's got no time penalties, so he's got to really pay this or play this tactically, of course, because if they can keep with the train and not break away, they will automatically be able to jump positions. Eager Pro is going to be in a bit of a troublesome situation, although this is better than what was initially going to happen, of course. I say that he could possibly lose a position to the cars behind, as he does go and get himself another time penalty, but he will have an opportunity to get further up the grid, of course. We've got Heisler in P8 with a 9-second time penalty. Alrighty. Thing leads the way. Safety car will go in on the next lap, so we will go racing lap 32 out of 36. That's going to be 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. 5 laps remaining of the race when we get started, of course. If there's going to be such an advantage here, they just to make sure that they do not bottle it. Zingy's had quite a few wins in a row now, of course. They won the USA Grand Prix, the sprint race and the feature race, and then they also went and won the 2 races before that, which immediately I cannot think of, which is extremely frustrating. Of course, Hungary they won, and the track before that, which was... wow. I don't know. I don't know what track was before that. Hungary. It was Japan. It was Japan. So they've won Japan, they've won Hungary, they've won USA. 3 in a row. They're going to try and make it 4. Ruleton, Nifo, Luke, back in the train. Going to try and prevent that from happening if possible, of course. Ruleton going to try and look for their second win. So would Nifo. Luke looking for their first. Robbo going to try and look for their first win ever. PJ also. That would be their second win of all time. Eager Pro, he's had quite a few. So I would probably get it wrong if I tried to count. So yeah. Eager Pro going to try and add to his tally. Heisler looking for a possible first win. Although the time penalties for the bottom 2 are pretty treacherous at the moment. Safety car will be going in this lap, so it's time to get warmed up and wait for that confirmation. Is it going to go in pretty late? I think we are going to get that confirmation very, very late on. And here it goes. Ready? Safety car will be in this lap. Ruleton will be the one to react to Zingy, of course. This is looking good. This is looking good for a good race. Time penalty wise, I hate to say it, it's going to look pretty tricky. Zingy can't quite go just yet. The safety car isn't far enough up the circuit just yet. Might be able to go for it right now, so it could be any moment, and they do go for it on the throttle, and Ruleton can't react. They can't react. They got the throttle limiter. I do not believe it, and a 3-second time penalty has already been gained, and Zingy is an absolute madman. I do not believe it. That is really, really unfortunate and infuriating for Ruleton, as he wasn't able to put the throttle on. The limiter just does not work. Nifo in P3 and Luke in P4 are going to be absolutely furious with that one. Nifo now in a really bad position to be able to win this race after all. It looks so hopeful, but that's not. 5 laps to try and catch back up to Zingy, and Zingy's going to have fresh tyres, clean air as well to push. So at the moment, Nifo's chance at a win here is just lying on Ruleton's shoulders for Ruleton to be able to try and catch up, but that is not ideal. Zingy leads the way like an absolute madman, and we have Ruleton in P2. We have Nifo in P3, going to be absolutely furious. They're going to be right behind Ruleton. And as long as they don't get a time penalty, they will still take P2 as it stands. Luke right now going to be taking P4 unless they get passed by Robbo, of course, who's just right there. And then we have PJ right behind them, who also wants to stay in the train. Igapro, Heisler holding on as well behind in the train, but they don't exactly have much to gain here, of course, with those time penalties. Zingy goes for a fastest lap, of course, as he went so early, able to push for that fast lap. Ruleton right now 3.3 seconds, so they're only losing time here to Nifo. They're only losing time. It's going to be really not ideal for them. They will just lose so much time. And although I say that, they do gain a lot on the straight. Nifo won't have DRS for at least this lap and the next lap on the main straight, that is. Luke might actually try and push for a move, and they are, interestingly. Didn't expect that one. Luke really wants to try and get ahead, but no, Nifo does have the advantage, so they will take it. A switch back is possibly available for Luke. Luke, he wants to get ahead of Ruleton. If he can't focus on Zingy, he wants to try and get ahead of Ruleton. Nifo wants to try his best to take a position over Zingy, of course, but actually, at this stage, they might have to try and concentrate. No, Luke! Luke loses it, I don't believe it! Luke loses it! After all of that, they could have looked at a P2, but they lose it all on the final sector. No, on the exit of the S section, the dirty air, the tyres. The setup just wasn't made for the tyres, and they're going to go into the pit lane and retire the car. Such a shame. It's such a shame that they've had to give up, because there's literally a couple laps remaining, but it is what it is. That is another DNF for Luke as they voluntarily retire. PJ having a look on the inside of Igapro, thinking they might as well have a go for a move if they're not going to be able to get close enough to Robbo, but they won't be able to do it. Just going to have to hold on there, as that is, of course, Nifo now going to be on their own. They do have Robbo up behind them for pressure, although Robbo doesn't really need to do anything. Zingy in an even better position than they've ever been. Nifo in that in that third place, just going to try and hold on to Ruleton, which I think they can do here. It's just if they do get pressure from Robbo, if he manages to maintain DRS. Did he get DRS right here? Yes, he did. It will give him a slight advantage, but would it be enough of an advantage for him to be able to catch in a little bit? I don't think so. Igapro, he's not able to catch up, so yeah, PJ is going to be slowed down a bit here, and PJ could possibly lose a P4, which they really don't want to do, but unfortunately they can't really do too much about it. PJ doesn't have the DRS actually, so Heisler could also challenge them. A really worst nightmare situation for PJ at the moment, as he tries his best to try and take a P4, but everybody else just trying to fight him, which is confusing, but nothing he can do. He just needs to be close enough to Igapro, and then he can make a statement that he wants to get through. Zingy leads the way, 4.9 seconds. Can we get this to a 6 second, he says. He's going to try his best to do so. Nifo, he just needs to slot in behind and wait for Ruleton to cross that line, of course, until they finish this race. But, of course, this circuit does have some double warnings, so they are taking a slight risk by doing that as well, if they're not careful. Robbo in P4 at the moment. Not going to be close enough as they do drop behind, so everybody behind is kind of just split up at the moment. Of course, Zingy so far ahead, and Nifo is right behind here on Ruleton. It's the final lap of the race, so they're going to try and push everything and go for a move on the final lap to just try and get that bragging right and also secure the position, of course, because just in case Ruleton does try and get a time penalty removed at the end, We'll have to wait and see. Will he be able to get a good enough run as we head towards turn 4? It's not terrible, but no ERS between the two. We'll have the DRS. Will he want to go for the send on the inside? He would have to do it, but no. Ruleton goes defensive to the outside line now. That's Nifo going for the inside. Very close between the two. He goes off the circuit, does Ruleton. Nifo now is the inside line. Oh, contact between the two, but they keep it together nicely. Very hard and close racing between these guys as we're on the final lap. I don't think it's going to be possible for Nifo to get through. It's just going to be not worth the risk at this stage. Although, very, very tricky for Ruleton. Will he put the pressure on? Will he send it to the inside? Ruleton defends interestingly once again. It's not going to be possible. I do not think. It's not. Zingy comes around the final few corners and he will take a dominant win at the Mexican Grand Prix. And Ruleton will cross the line in P2, but it's not going to be enough because Nifo will take the P3 after all. What a drive there. Ruleton, P3. And then we have Robbo in P4, P5 there for PJ. As PJ unfortunately did miss out on those time penalties. But still, such a good effort. Wow, wow, wow. That is the Mexican Grand Prix, ladies and gentlemen. Zingy's won 4 on the bounce now. 4 on the bounce. Who is going to stop him? Zingy takes the win. Nifo in P2 and Ruleton in P3. Robbo, PJ, Heisler, Igapro finish off the grid. Luke will score points after all that. So will Andrews, actually. Unless we'll have to investigate that one, because I'm not quite sure if they do complete enough of the race. And then Captain 4G DNFing, of course, earlier on. We'll skim through the race director, just in case we need to, a little bit later on, of course. And then we will be back. We'll see you in a minute. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1 Championship. We're today for the Mexico Grand Prix post-race interviews, and we start the interviews with Zingy. Zingy, well done, 4 in a row now. That is very, very nice. The safety car initially wasn't looking very good. However, of course, we had a bit of a safety car limiter issue for Ruleton, which was actually really good for you, and it allowed you to get even more of a lead than you already had. Are you happy with that one?
Yeah, well, at the start, Luke was rapid, man. He was so quick, and then he just dropped off drastically. So I was like, okay, I'll try and get out of DRS, and he just stuck within my DRS the whole time. It was really annoying me because it was like 8, 9 tenths, but then we just decided to work together, which pulled us away from Rotorn and Niffle, which was obviously good for me. And then pit stops came out. I done the undercut, and I pulled out a gap. I don't know what the gap was. It was like 4 seconds. Luke spun. The safety car came out. And the safety car, I found an exploitation with the safety car. Or, well, not necessarily, but it's the way I restart, which really confuses people, which got me that lead. And of course, the game also bugging out a bit, which I didn't anticipate with Rotorn, helped me, which is unfortunate because it would have been good for me and Niffle to battle it out on penalties, but you can't really help these things sometimes.
Yeah, it is a shame, but nothing we can do about it now. So yeah, still you did very good. No one can take that away from you. You had great pace, and you were always right there, so well done. On to the next one. We got Saudi Arabia. I know that's a track that you don't particularly like, but can you possibly make it 5 in a row, do you think?
It's always possible, but I don't believe that my form will keep up. I can try my best, and I really will, because I need to get up to pace on this track. I'm quite slow, but I will try my best, and I think, I mean, if I put enough effort in, I will get 5 in a row, and it will continue the streak of wins.
Yeah, really well done, really well deserved. Hopefully, maybe in the future we can see Saudi Arabia have some more low-speed corners that would be more suited for you. One last question, how would you describe your race in 3 words?
An absolute domination.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Nifo. I think that's what I said. Nifo, well done. It was a great effort. You got pretty much screwed over by that safety car bug. I realised immediately what happened. Such a shame. That was a possible win in the bag there. But can you take us over the whole race, of course? You had quite an eventful one.
Yeah, I mean, quali again. I think I would have had a guaranteed P2, but I messed up the second run, and then on the last one, I just locked up in the second corner, and that was just already it. It's just unbelievable how bad the quali has been recently, but I guess I just have to improve on that. Then I think I had 2 overtakes at the start, and then, just fighting back, but that train was just, I mean, it's impossible to pass with that long DRS and that long straight. And then Luke and Zingy pulled a gap from Ruleton, who made a mistake, so I overtook him, and then they just worked together, pulled away from us, so it was just me and Ruleton battling, which was really fun, to be fair. I've not had such a hard battle in a while. I think it was hard, but I think it was quite fair, although it was hard. Yeah, and I was just trying everything, undercutting, didn't really work, and then the safety car came out. And yeah, the bug screwed me over. Like, I was just focused. I knew people were gonna get penalties. I was focusing on not getting penalties, and then that happening didn't help. But yeah, I'm still way off the pace. But I guess seeing as I started P6, it was a quite okay race.
Yeah, I think there's progress, of course, with the DRS train. You actually, when the top 2 actually did fight into turn 1, you gained about 3 tenths. So I don't think you should be too disheartened, of course, because that DRS train, when they didn't fight, helped them absolutely massively. So you still did a very good job, spending quite a lot of time in clean air with no DRS, of course, Ruleton sitting behind you for a while. But yeah, a really good battle, and thank you very much for putting that on screen for us. One last, not one last question. On to the next one, Saudi Arabia. Do you like high-speed flowing tracks?
No. Yeah, see, I hated this track. I hate Kota. This Saudi's another one, so just get it over with, I guess.
Yeah, not the the best sequence of circuits to go to, I guess, for you in a row. But still, it's a track that Zingy doesn't like, so maybe you can get ahead of your rival there. It's quite possible. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
I guess. Shit. Still too slow.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to PJ. PJ, what a shame. Just wasn't able to get past Eager Pro, losing that P4, but still a P5 from what you had before. Are you happy with that in the end, even though it could have been a P4?
Yeah, in the end, I'm completely happy. My best finish in years in a 50% race. And yeah, I mean, it was a lucky in the unluck with the incident and crash I had with Andrew going on the straight.
All right.
But I'm still happy, and I had no training for Mexico, so I went completely blind in it. And I'm also really tired now because I have civil service now for 9 months, and I have 2 10-hour shifts the last 2 days, so I'm really tired, and I'm happy that I made it to the end.
Yeah, I'm proud of you there. Well done. No time penalties as well to flex on everyone else. So
One. I had it at the end, 1 free second.
No one saw. Next one, Saudi Arabia. Do you like that circuit more than the others? I think from what I remember, you did pretty well, especially in the F1.5 race last season.
Yes, I love this track because my main problem where I lose pace is at accelerating. And on this track you don't have any slow speed corner, only 1 or 2, and therefore I can use my precise turning or cornering speed to maybe get 1 or 2 places ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, maybe a little bit similar to me then, although I'm not so precise. I just kind of hit the wall. And ride the curve, spin, all the good stuff.
Yes.
Well done today. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Luck in unluck.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you. Goodbye.
And we move on to Ruleton. Ruleton, that was annoying. I don't know what to say. That's such a shame for you. Do you think you could have fought for the win if that bug didn't happen?
Siggy was pretty quick, I would say that, so I'm not sure.
Do you think you had the straight line speed is probably a better question then?
Yeah, I had the straight line speed, definitely. I had the pace. I was just a bit scared of getting another wounding because then I would have gone at 6 seconds. But at least it would have given me a chance instead of this, which it's just annoying.
Yeah, it's a shame, but nothing you can really do. I guess you still, I guess in a way you've kind of gained the position, of course, because Luke then.
Yeah.
So it's not the worst way to end the race, but
no,
it's
this
also
is still podium from P5.
yeah,
Qualifying wasn't that good. I had some pace in the race, but then I just made a big mistake
yeah,
and lost DRS.
yeah. So it's actually a really good result in the end if you look at it in that way.
Yeah.
Well done for that one. Saudi Arabia, you're on a controller. Is that going to be any good for you, do you think, or you do not quite like the circuit?
No, I don't like it at all. Especially on this year's game, it's just understeer and big curbs.
Yeah. So not hopeful for that one?
No, not really.
Fair enough. It's a shame, but it's still... You should be happy with... Whoopsie. You should be happy with your pace today. Really well done. Well deserved on the podium. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Average race pace.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to the final one. Aisha, it was tough at the beginning. It was tough in the beginning. You had some good battles. The safety car did help you get back into it in the end, though. Can you take us through that one?
Yeah, it was quite unlucky in the beginning. I was boxed in everywhere, to be honest. Couldn't really move around. First corners went well, luckily enough, when I broke early enough. But yeah, the second sequence of corners I broke a little bit too late. Wasn't even hard contact, but gave me yellow front wing damage. So the whole hard stint was driving on my own, seeing people making mistakes, but we couldn't really capitalize on it. And then the medium still on my own, and then the safety car came indeed and brought me back into it. And to be honest, seeing from the fast lap I set on the mediums and not really able to improve with the softs because I was all the time I was in dirty R or something. I think I could have been a lot higher up if I didn't have that damage.
Yeah, that's not what we want to see. I do apologise for that. That does explain what happened at the beginning. Of course, just weren't able to stay with it, but it is what it is, and it will make the good results even sweeter. So still, it is what it is. So yeah, the safety car bringing you back into it, but the time penalty is just not quite there. But next one, Saudi. Do you like Saudi as a circuit? Does it suit you more?
Yeah, I'm quite sad that I can't be there next Friday and Saturday because you know Flower, right? On that track, I'm actually faster than him. It's like my best track on this game. So I'm quite sad I can't drive it.
But you like the circuit still?
Yeah, of course. If it's my best track.
Yeah. Well done. Hopefully we can see you for Brazil. But other than that, one last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Hard to say.
If you can't do it, no worries. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, not really.
No worries. Don't worry about it. Thank you very much and well done today. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will be back tomorrow for the F1.5 Championships. We will be back on Tuesday for the practice sessions. And we'll see you next weekend for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Bye-bye.